Welcome to A Tribe Called Swish. This is your boy B Moore. This is your playoff update. The playoffs are in full swing. Great games all around. Also a terrible series with OKC and Memphis, but we'll get to that later. But we're going to talk about the Houston series, Houston Golden State series. That might take a turn because of Jimmy Butler's injury. We're going to talk about the rest of the playoffs. Cleveland dominating again. It was a close call last night, but still, I don't see anyone really threatening Cleveland. Boston put in work against Orlando, even without Jason Tatum. So, look, the playoffs are here. They're back. It's amazing. Basketball is in full swing. I just love the NBA playoffs. First up, let's talk about last night's action. Houston, Golden State. As Jim Ross would say,
it's going to be a slobber knocker to say the very least.
Houston evened up the series last night 1-1. Behind a stellar game from Jalen Green and Alfred Sengun being a beast in the middle. Did you see that spin move? Crazy. I've told you all from the beginning of this podcast, when I first started, I said, look out for Jalen Green. He was my early pick for most improved player. Did not see Ivan Zubac being this great, but that was back in October, so things happen. But Jalen Green is the truth. He is that guy, and he's ready to take the next step. Scratch that. He is taking the next step. He needs to be more consistent, but that's going to come. He has shown improvement throughout this whole season. Game 1 was an anomaly. And I've told people that on the sidebars that I didn't expect him to shoot that terrible again. It was his first playoff game ever, and this is only his third season in the league. He proved why he can be that guy in the league. This series is physical, which plays into Houston's hands and also plays into Golden State's weaknesses. Draymond's head. Draymond's fragile mind state, his fragile frame of mind when things get physical and especially when they're losing. Look, Draymond can't deal. I mean, as a great player and great basketball mind he is, Draymond sometimes is very weak mentally. He loses his shit most of the time. He almost lost it last night, but the refs were nice enough and didn't give him that tech that would have suspended him for the next game. The Warriors also have another issue, though. Jimmy Butler's injury. We'll probably get an update on that later on today, but that could really make a turn for this series because we saw how the Golden State played when he went out. That team is a bunch of no-names, and I don't know what's going on with Kerr and Kuminga, but whatever is going on, Steve Kerr does not trust him, and he reluctantly threw him in, and Kuminga just shows why has the talent, but ultimately is pretty average. But let's be real here. Before the injuries, the Rockets were being aggressive with the Warriors. That wasn't the same Rockets team from game 1. I think this is going to be the Rockets night regardless, even if Jimmy stayed in. It definitely would have been a closer game. So that's a factor. They wouldn't have won by 15. But the series shifts to San Francisco this Saturday, and we will have a better idea by then of Jimmy's health. And if Houston can travel with this high level of play, the Warriors might be in trouble. But what I am liking, though, outside of that, what I am liking is the refs letting these teams be physical with each other. Ime Udoka has this theory that he wants his team to be physical and have the refs adjust to their play instead of the other way around. It's risky. It's a risky gamble, as we saw Amen Thompson and Sengun and Dylan Brooks have foul trouble last night. But there are many other calls the refs let slide to keep the flow of the game to allow more physicality. This has been a good series so far, really reminiscent of 90s basketball. Stan Van Gundy said that over and over again. This is the kind of basketball that he loved and he coached in. Steph has been amazing in this series. So look, this series has been great, but let's be real. Steph has been the best player in this series. He's just hitting tough shot after tough shot. I can't imagine how annoying it is for anyone guarding him to see those shots fall time after time. I still think Houston in 6, but we will see. So what do you think? Leave a comment down below. I think this is Houston's time to step up. Not sure how far they will get after this series, but I think Houston can take them. Now, the Clippers-Nuggets series. Why does it feel like these two teams played forever ago? I don't know. It was just Monday. It feels like they had the longest gap besides any other teams. But this is the series that most of us have been waiting to resume. We are seeing basketball being played at a high level from these teams as a whole. I would feel way more confident in Denver if Michael Malone was still on the bench. But here we are. We have seen the rebirth of Kawhi, and it's been an amazing sight. We have been robbed of what possibly could have been a GOAT career due to injuries and bad medical staff at various teams. The high level we are seeing Kawhi and Harden is the reason why we love this game. And the reason why the Clippers are legitimate contenders. Out of all the coaches still around, Ty Lue is one of the few I trust to make adjustments and not to make bad decisions in the clutch. We will have to look at the play Ivan Zubac, who will definitely get looks for Defensive Player of the Year and probably Most Improved. Norman Powell, who should have been an all-star if LeBron wasn't being selfish. But the bigger thing, this is an actual team. A team that plays well together and really is the sum of their parts. They don't have a lot of duplication. Too many guys who are good at the same thing. The Nuggets, on the other hand, is an offensive juggernaut. They have the best player in the world, and when you have that, you have a chance to win every game. But unfortunately for his supporting cast, it's not nearly as good as it was on that championship team. I've said it before, I'll say it again. Denver's wing defenders are non-existent. Aaron Gordon is the best he can, but age and injuries has taken their toll. He's not the same he was a few years ago. And Michael Porter Jr., can't guard a senior citizen. Neither can Jamal Murray, which lends the problem to Denver is when these guys' shots aren't falling, they don't have anything to fall back on. Most of the games like that, they will lose because they don't play good defense. They don't even play good team defense, which is crazy. Russell Westbrook has been the mystery box from hell or heaven, depending on what side you're on. He will hit a game winner and then turn the ball over. He will get a steal and then hit the top of the backboard in the layup. I don't understand the swings with his game at all. But with that said, I think the Clippers in 7 and the Nuggets may possibly look to make major moves in the offseason to salvage Jokic prime. But something has to be done. They need wing defenders, and Jokic need people who he can rely on. And with Jamal Murray always being injured, Michael Porter Jr. can't guard his traffic cone, things have to change or you're going to waste one of the greatest players we've seen. Now let's shift to Lakers and Wolves. The Lakers played physical defense in game 2, and that had the Wolves off balance that whole night. For the second year straight, Chris Finch is falling for the banana in the tailpipe, having Gobert switch out on Luka. This does not work, and it will never work. Gobert doesn't have the foot speed nor the aggression to play defense without fouling Luka. The fact that Luka hit the shot and yelled at the bench, sub him out, is one of the most disrespectful things ever. I mean, it's Steph level of disrespect. The T-Wolves shot 38% from the field. 38%. That's junior varsity high school level of shooting. And only hit 5 3-pointers. I know Ant finished with 25, but while I was watching, he didn't look 100%. He was favoring his right shoulder, doing some of the free throws, and he was dribbling mostly with his left hand. That's just what I'm seeing. I'm no doctor, but he didn't seem like his normal self. The shots he missed were short. I would not surprise if we find out that he has an issue with his shoulder. Look, it could have been a stinger and something that resolves itself, but it's just something I noticed during this game. When we look at the Lakers sideline, we have to figure out, is this the best LeBron can give us at this age? Yes, he finished with 21 and 11, but he didn't really put his fingerprint on this game. This was a Luka game. Luka was the starter and the closer. Austin Reeves is still trying to find a shot. He was 0 for 6 from three-point range, and even though he finished shooting 50%, this has to concern JJ Redick. He was missing wide open threes. And as the series moved to Minneapolis, we will see if Chris Finch has any adjustments. With that roster, I don't know what he can make. I assume their shooting will regress to the mean, so they will land somewhere between hot shooting in game 1 and the cold tub they call shooting in game 2. But I'm not sure what you do with Gobert. You have to play him. He has some use, but in a switch everything league, he's not very helpful. So, one of my first episodes I asked, do the Bucks matter? This is a reason why they don't. This series has everything you would want in the NBA playoffs. 2 competitive teams that don't like each other and that will continue to be in each other's way. Individual players that can't stand the sight of each other. And a generational great player in the middle. The problem is, this series, and going back to last year, has been one-sided. Now, all the games have been competitive, especially considering that it's 5 versus 1. But for this series to matter, For Milwaukee to matter, they have to get off the mat and at least win one game. The way they are playing, I don't see that happening. Dame is not right, and I'm not even sure he should be playing after having a blood clot scare. Giannis is averaging 35 points, 15 rebounds, and 4 assists. Let me say that again. 35 points, 15 rebounds, 4 assists. And get this, he's shooting 65% from the field. The man is beasting. Like, give this man any help, some help. Anything would be appreciated. Look, Bobby Portis had an out of this world game, but he needed that game just to make this game competitive. The vanishing of Kyle Kuzma, Brook Lopez, and Kevin Porter may need an anthropological study. Giannis needs help, and I'm not sure how much better he can play. You can't rely on Bobby dropping 28 and 12 again, and I'm not sure if Doc Rivers has a trick in his tired and stepped on hat, but whatever he has, he needs to use it. The fact that this will be another year Doc Rivers won't get out of the first round, we're going to have to reevaluate if he's even a good coach at this point, because that great boat has left years ago. Next series, Oklahoma City and the Grizzlies. Look, I'm from South Carolina, right? I'm from Charleston, Hollywood to be exact. But growing up, we had this thing called skunk. Skunk is when you're getting beat so bad, the game has to end just to avoid total embarrassment. Because nobody wants to lose a game of 21-0. So normally skunk was around 10 or 12-0. There is no scheme Memphis can come up with that will slow down this freight train the Thunder is on. The Thunder was playing with their food, toying with them, giving the Grizzlies hope when they cut the lead down to 9. Only for them in less than 2 minutes to extend it back to 20. At this point, this is cardio for the Thunder, keeping them fresh for the winner of the Clippers and Nuggets series. But one thing I am seeing that concerns me is one thing I am seeing from SGA that is concerning is he does seem to be pressing. Charles Barkley called this out on the broadcast, and then I kind of looked at the highlights, and yes, he's pressing a little bit. Look, we know you're the MVP. You've proved that point. Do what you've done all year. Let the game come to you. If anything, this is where you should let your teammates get off. Let Chet get more grounded. Let Jalen Williams get more comfortable. Let the bench players get busy. It's going to be a street fight whomever they face in the next round, so you might as well get practice and your cardio in now and make sure the team is comfortable. Because the next round, it's going to be a street fight. And it's going to be the best kind of street fight that we could ever imagine. Boston and Orlando. I mean, Orlando has talent, and Orlando is a good team, but they are completely overmatched against Boston. They made it a competitive game last night, but really, they never had a chance to actually win it, even without Jason Tatum. And the Cleveland-Miami series, Miami made it a game also. They made it close, but at some point, you have to get talent. You have to get enough talent to be competitive. And Cleveland has it and Miami doesn't. I mean, Miami keeps doing this, making the most with less, and that's great. And I think Tyler Hero and Bam are great side pieces, great number 2s, maybe number 3. But those 2 players can't carry you anywhere. Not in the league today. So until Miami decides that they're going to edit heat culture and, make it evolve to fit today's player and today's NBA, they're going to consistently be an 8 seed and being fodder for better teams. But on the other side, Cleveland. Look, man, Cleveland is doing what they're supposed to do. They're trying to make quick work of these guys and get ready for the next round. I mean, unfortunately, on the Eastern Conference, none of these rounds are going to matter until the Eastern Conference Finals. So, it's here for the good basketball for the most part. Cleveland and Boston here for the cardio. Make sure everyone's playing well. Try to keep everybody healthy, but it's not going to get real for any of them until the Eastern Conference Finals, because none of these other teams has a chance to beat them. I mean, the Pacers may make the Celtics sweat a little bit, but that's probably going to go 6, maybe 5. But that's the best we're going to get. And then the winner of the Knicks and Pistons series, I mean, they can make it competitive against Cleveland, but The Knicks can't beat the top teams. We've seen it all season. And the Pistons, I think this is where the youth is going to catch up with them. I'm not sure if they're ready for those kind of bright lights yet. So again, it really comes down to Cleveland and Boston. The West isn't quite as cut and dry. OKC will end up in the finals. How they get to the finals will be the interesting part, and how many games it will take will be interesting. I mean, outside of this first round, it won't be a cakewalk for them to the finals. On the other side of the bracket, it's just a fight. So who knows who their opponents could be. It could be any one of those 4 teams, to be honest with you, because all of those 4 teams, Minnesota, the Lakers, Golden State, Houston, can get hot and find themselves in the Western Conference Finals. So we'll see. Again, NBA playoffs, to me, they have the best postseason, because I legitimately think anything can happen. And the talent level and the level of play just gets raised to such a high level. This is why I love the game. So what do you think of this year's playoffs? Leave a comment below. I think it's been great so far. I think the level of basketball has been elevated, and I think it's been making for great TV. So please, again, leave a comment below. Tell me what you think. All right, so that's this episode for today. Please like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Share, tell your friends to tell a friend to tell a friend. This is Be More for A Tribe Called Swish, signing out. Peace.